Well, today I'm going to talk about how I lost my virginity, which is kind of a funny story. Seeing as most people, they lose it like at an older age than what I did. I actually lost my virginity when I was 12 years old, believe it or not. And it was actually in a totally different country. It was in France. So back in the summer of after 6th grade, I believe it was, we went on a trip to Europe. We went to like 7 different countries, and we went just all across Europe and stuff. And so it was like 2 weeks there, and we got to France. It was the middle of the trip, and nothing really all that exciting had happened. I mean, it was nice, it was an enjoyable trip and everything, but nothing really all that exciting had happened. And so our tour guide at the time, we were staying in Paris, France, and we had like a list of options to do. We went with like a tour bus, tour group kind of thing, and we had a list of options of what we could do. And so my grandmother and I looked through the list of options, and she was all into doing all those kind of things. Anything you could find that we could do, she wanted to do it, no matter how much money it costs or anything like that. That was just, it was irrelevant. And so my grandmother picked this one thing, and it was some French word. We didn't even know what it was. There were no descriptions underneath each of these things as to tell you what it was about, other than it was like a show or a dinner. They didn't give you like what the show was about or what kind of dinner it was, nothing. So there's this one, it was called like La Nouvelle Eve, some bullshit like that. And so my grandmother asked the tour guide, she was afraid for me at the time because, I was 12 years old, and Europe's a whole different kind of country. She didn't want me to see some, naked girls and all that kind of other shit that's around there that's normal for them. So she asked the tour guide if it was if it was appropriate for all ages, meaning that would I be able to see it and would I be able to understand and enjoy it and stuff like that. Same for her as well. And tour guide told us that yes, it was definitely all age appropriate and stuff like that, and we would both fully enjoy the show and dinner. And so we get there, and it looked like some little titty bar, actually, is what it looked like, in retrospect, knowing what those are now. But at the time, I had no idea what anything like that was. And so we walked in there and we sat down, and they had a dinner in front of us. We started eating, and since it was France, there's no drinking laws there for France, and my grandmother was kind of cool about it. She let me drink, and I would kind of sneak it, though. She only wanted me to have like 2 or 3 glasses at the most, and I would sneak another one from somebody near me, or I would just take the pitcher and pour another drink real quick and drink it while she was looking at the show. And everything started off fine, right? There's just this lady that came out, and she was singing some James Bond theme song, actually, from GoldenEye. And as soon as she walked off the stage, though, this line of girls come out, and they're all basically butt naked. And then even some of them came out in some really kinky shit. Like some of them had Catwoman costumes on with their titties hanging out and stuff like that. It was wild. And my grandmother was just horrified at that. She tried to cover my eyes and all that kind of shit. But I watched the show anyway, But being as drunk as I was, I had like 5 glasses of wine, to the point where my grandmother like took all the wine near me and put it, away from me to where I couldn't get up to reach it. I could barely stand up as it was. Being 12 years old and having no tolerance, I was, completely wasted for my age. And, I had to go to the bathroom, though. That was the downfall of it. I drank so much, I had to go take a piss. And that place was the most confusing damn place ever. You couldn't find the bathroom. I couldn't read the damn signs anyway. It didn't matter if they were English or French at that point. Everything was double vision. And the worst part is, and if you've ever been to a European country, you know that a lot of those places like that, they have these weird fucking stairs. They're all like spirally, and they're real tight, and you just have to, it's real hard to navigate around that shit. So, I'm sitting over there, and I have to get up, take a piss. So I stumble my way over there, and my grandmother's not one of those people that's going to get up and help me. She was pretty wasted at the time as well, as much as she could be. And so, I had to go basically take that adventure on my own. And so I started climbing the stairs. I had the hardest fucking time climbing those stairs, and it took me a while to get up to the top. And when I finally did, I found the bathrooms, luckily. And the problem was that I don't remember why, but I couldn't get into the bathroom. I just remember that being the problem. And there was this 18-year-old girl or so, I believe, somewhere around that age. At the time, she was on my tour, and we'd spoken a little before that and stuff like that. I didn't really know her. And she offered to help me into the bathroom, and I was like, okay, being as drunk as I was, I thought, why not? And so we get in there, and just one thing led to another, and somehow I ended up losing my virginity to that girl in the bathroom. It was a one-person bathroom. It's not like you walk in and there's, a whole bunch of stalls and shit. No, it was one person bathroom. You could lock the door and that was it. You know, you had your time alone in there for however long you wanted. And so, yeah, I don't really remember much of it happening. I vaguely remember it, but I do remember the next day I had the worst damn hangover ever. My grandmother wanted to go out and do all the sightseeing shit, and I had the worst hangover. I couldn't do it. I had to stay home in bed, you know, in the hotel. And so, inside the hotel, next day the girl comes and knocks on the door, you know, and she comes in and she just tells me all about it. You know, she remembered it. She had drank some, but she wasn't anywhere near as wasted as I had been. And, you know, she told me all about that shit. And, you know, I'll never forget it, you know. Just that whole experience, though, it was wild. At 12 years old, that's probably like, you know, that's the age when most dudes probably discover masturbating and, you know, shit like that, you know, probably right around that age. But you don't ever imagine losing your virginity at that age, you know. That was something that just came totally out of the blue. But, you know, it is what it is.